We're going to be calling on the next speaker who will be taking us through the process of how to start learning a new programming language effectively. And this speaker is an enthusiast about functional and maintainable software and the soft skills that helps to build teams. He's the creator of Pick at Random Twitter bots and a recipient of the Linux Foundation Training Scholarship. He has been a mentor at Andela Learning Groups and GDG Ibadan, and currently leads the engineering team at Zedi Inc. When he's not a fanboy of Avatar Ang, he is still a fanboy of Avatar Ang. Please put your hands together as we welcome to the stage Dominic Orim. Let's put our hands together for him, please.
All right, everybody. Good morning. I'm very, very, very excited because of two things. When I got in here, when I entered the building, I was sweating. And it's because of the energy from Gen Zs, right? I was sweating, and the whole energy was making me water. Okay. Another reason why I'm excited is because I was here in 2018. I was seated around here, right? And I was watching a couple of people do talks on Android development. I was writing Java then, right? I was looking, there were a couple of people speaking. I was like, wow, I'm going to be on this stage one day, I hope. 2018, 2024, I'm on this same stage, this same room. DevFest 2018, yeah, I was here. All right, so I'm going to be talking about how to learn a programming language, right? And this talk is for a lot of people, right? You are just getting into tech, you are a product manager, and your developers are messing you up. And let me even see what these people are doing. Let me even just, or maybe some developers in your company left, right? And you are the only one, and they say, please, help us fill in. This talk is for people like you, right? I'm supposed to. I don't know how to use this, Okay, this is me. Or this was me when my hair was still like Wole Soyinka. So basically, what's a programming language? Any language you can use to instruct a computer to do one or two things is a programming language. Now, whether CSS is a programming language or HTML is a programming language, that's not why we are here. But anything that you can use to instruct a computer to do something is a programming language. Sorry, any language you can use to instruct a computer to do something, you can call it a programming language. Come on now, don't do me like this now. All right, so a couple of studies have shown that, look, if you want to learn something, if you want to get better at something, if you want to be very, very good at something, you have to spend at least 10,000. How many people have seen stuff like that, right? If you want to get better at anything, you have to spend 10,000 hours doing that thing. But then when you look at it, the people who were studied and ended up giving this result were people way back, probably before our grandparents, right? Then there was no internet, so you had to scour libraries to study. You had to be under somebody. Maybe that person knew more than you. So you have to spend 3 years, 7 years on that person to be very, very good at it. But today we have the internet. You should not spend 10,000 hours trying to be able to be good at something. I mean, is there a way that you can spend less than 10,000 hours trying to get better at a programming language, trying to get better at anything that you are doing? Right? So that's what this talk is about, how to get better at learning a programming language, right, efficiently. So, if you don't get anything out of this talk, please don't miss this one. This is the most important part of this talk. Consistency over intensity. So I scour social media sometimes and I see some people say, I've been coding since morning. I've been coding since 8 o'clock. This is 6 o'clock in the evening. Right? I've learned a lot. That is not the secret. You see, the way the brain is like whenever you want to start learning something new, right? It's like there is a bush in your head. There's a bush for that part in your head. And if you know how bush parts are, if somebody walks, right, today, another person walks on that same part tomorrow, and people keep walking on that part, you will notice that very soon there will be no grass growing on that path anymore. So it will be easier for people to just walk through that part. That's the way the brain is when you are learning something. When you want to start learning something, right, your place is just bushy. But when you start learning, you keep pushing through at least every day, you put in the effort to learn it, right? You are creating that part. After a couple of time, like maybe 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. If we look at a couple of us now here, most of us don't understand Arabic. Like you see it, But your brain doesn't translate it to anything in your head. It's just like an image. But if you start learning Arabic, you'll be, unlike other people, you see Arabic and you'll be able to translate it to one language or another in your head. That's how it actually is, right? You don't have to spend 10,000 hours. You just have to be consistent. Today, you take one small step. Tomorrow, you don't have to spend 2 hours every day. But you just have to take one step every time, one step every day. Yeah, so into the technicality of the talk, right? There are just 4 steps. There are just 4 steps. Whether these steps are going to be simple, whether they are going to be hard, I don't know. I can't say. But there are just 4 steps. You want to start with introductory material, right? Right. Introductory material are just things that just tell you the basics of the language, probably, and you don't want to spend much time there. Then you want to go next to practicing bite-sized exercises, just little things that help you that help you practice what you have done in stage 1. Or let me just move on. All right, so you want to start with consuming introductory material. So you're learning a programming language. These are things at first glance. These are things you want to focus on. How does the programming language store data in memory? Right? Does it use floats? Does it use doubles? Does it use string? Is a character different from a string? Those are the kind of things you want to know, right? Next thing, you want to know how to manipulate data. Okay, you can store data now. How do I add 2 numbers? Okay, if I divide 2 by 20, am I going to get 0 or am I going to get 0 point something? Those are the kind of things you want to know next. Next, you want to know conditional logic. You know, the way computers are, they are built to somehow think like human beings, right? You wake up in the morning, have I eaten? Should I work out or should I not work out? Okay, if there is light, I should code. If there is no light, I should cook food. Something like that. That's conditional logic. Then, next thing you want to know is, what are the quirks of this language? Like, some languages have nil, some languages have null, some languages have undefined, some languages don't have those. So you want to know, how is this language different from another language? Then last, you want to be able to understand language documentation, because when you start working with that language, the best place is not Stack Overflow. The best place is not even ChatGPT. The best place is still the language documentation, because that's like the Bible of the language. Right. So next thing you want to do, like I said, from the former slide, you don't want to spend too much time. Oh my goodness. Okay, I was here. All right, so you don't want to spend too much time from the previous slide. You don't want to spend too much time there. Because if I ask many of you here now, how many people know how to ride a bicycle? If you know how to ride a bicycle, please let me see your hand. Okay, now you know how to ride a bicycle, right? I want to show you that just looking at something alone doesn't help. If you know how to ride a bicycle, when you get home today, pick up a pen and try to draw a bicycle. You find out that you cannot draw a bicycle. You want to try, if you have a pen here, try. You know how to ride a bicycle, right? You see a bicycle every day. But if you pick up a pen and try to draw a bicycle, unless you're an artist, you will not be able to draw a bicycle because you have not practiced drawing a bicycle. What you have practiced is riding a bicycle. So you have read about language, you know its quirks, you know how it manipulates data, how to add 1 or 2 in a language, right? Next thing you want to do is to practice. And this is where consistency matters. This is where you want to spend much of your time in. Every day, there are like 4 platforms here. You have Exercism, you have LeetCode, you have boot.dev, you have Code Wars. Every day, even if it's one exercise you spend doing in any of these platforms, is good for you, because every day you are clearing that path in your head. You are clearing that part in your brain, saying, my brain understands this language. My brain understands this language. You have exercising. And another good thing about this stage is, right, this stage has exercises that are graded. So you have some exercises in medium, you have some exercises in hard, you have some exercises in easy. So when you start moving from easy to medium, you can tell that you are getting better at using that programming language. When you start moving from medium to hard, you know you are getting better in using that language. So this is where you want to spend much of your time in trying to get better, right? So, like, you can take a picture of the slide. You have exercism.org. I actually find exercism very, very interesting. You have LeetCode. A lot of people use this to practice for their job interviews. You have Code Wars. The exercises, they are pretty harder than the one in exercism. And you have boot.dev. Pretty interesting learning platform. Then the next thing you want to do is to build projects. The next thing you want to do is to build projects, right? You want to know how to use that language to work with the command line. So how do I pass in data via the standard input? How do I get it out via the standard output? You want to know how to work with network requests. Oh, how do I make a network request to what? Google? How do I make a network request to what? Telegram? How do I make a network request to what? Discord? Building a Discord bot and stuff. You don't have to build something very, very, or something that will shake the whole world, exactly. Like, you don't have to build something that is going to change the whole world from worse to better or something. What you want to know is, look, at this stage, how do I work with the APIs, like the inbuilt APIs that these languages provide, right? There is a, don't play the video, there is a video, if you have access to the slides after the talk, there is a video, like, you don't have to build something that, like, is going to change the world, that's going to make you $1 billion, that's going to fetch you $1 trillion, like, pay stack in 1 month. No, you're just trying to get to know how to use these APIs, right? Another thing with this slide, and the ideas from the previous slide are, when you make mistakes, because you eventually make mistakes, it's new to you. When you were learning to walk as a child, you made a lot of mistakes. You try to stand, you fall, you try to stand, you fall, until you got better, right? So you make a lot of mistakes in this stage, right? And you check Google, okay, how do I do this thing properly? How do I do this thing properly? Now, the good thing there is that when you see these error messages frequently, they are stuck in your brain. You get better at it to the point that you see one error message and you know that, look, this is where this thing is coming from. You don't even need to check Stack Overflow anymore. You don't need to ask ChatGPT. Like, you see the error line, you see the error, I've done this before, I've faced this kind of error before. This is where the problem is coming from. And you go to your code. You're not going to ChatGPT, you're not going to Stack Overflow, you're not going to Google. Because you have started getting better at a language. The parts in your brain are clearing and you are getting to understand it more. What kind of projects you build? Like, I know people have this kind of, what kind of projects you build? One, you build projects that scratch your itch. You build projects that help you scratch your itch. So maybe you have a problem and you want to instruct a computer to help you do something. Okay, how do I do this with this programming language? Let's say you are always maybe writing your to-dos. How do I build a to-do app? So I just type it on my phone or on my computer and it is saved. Something like that. You want to, if you don't have ideas, if you don't have any itch to scratch, you are totally fine and everything, right? You can go to coding challenges.fyi. They have a lot of coding challenges there. And in fact, I think for the past few months, the person that manages that platform has been posting challenges every weekend. So almost every weekend, you are seeing, how do I use my programming language to build a Redis server? How do I use that? So many things, right? Some other thing you can do is to look at existing projects that have been done in other languages and change it, and use the programming language you are learning to work to build it too. Lastly, you are becoming better and better. You want to, don't look at how to write tests and everything. It's when you have been able to build stuff, then start thinking of how to write tests and all, right? All right, so the goal, right, is to be able to instruct computers efficiently. Don't go past that, right? Don't do too much. This is what you are aiming for. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for that session. It was amazing.